Why the church should be like this? How can we solve this problem? أنا أدوس على إيه بقى؟ اللي في النص ده؟ ماشي. Why the church are like that? This is the beginning of how a vision is to be formulated. A concern. I have a concern. And we have to do something about it. يعني for example, أنت you have a Sunday school in the church. ماشي? We have, God knows how many kids you have. طيب, how many hours these kids spend in Sunday school a week? 1 hour? 2 hours? طب the 2 hours دول, is it enough for a Sunday school teacher to give whatever he wants to these kids? Learn them how to pray from the Akbiyah, how you eat, how you work on a certain schedule, how you wake up in the morning. يعني, is it enough? No, مش enough. طب this is a concern. حل الموضوع ده إن إحنا we have to build a building. So we can teach these kids how to live a structured life. I can put these kids like 4 or 5 hours a day with the servant, and the servant can teach him whatever he wants in these 4 or 5 hours. حليت المشكلة. You have a concern, I have a solution, now I came up with a solution, let's execute it. This is how the vision is formulated. Visions form in the hearts of those who are dissatisfied with the status quo. صح كده احنا فاهم. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ يعني انت if you are satisfied with everything around you, that means you're not going to change anything. The only time you are going to change is when you're not satisfied. I'm not satisfied with this. I have to do something about this. زي ما قلت لك, same people come in to the church and see everything is, upside down. They're not bothered at all. They are not. خلاص. Which is okay. ما هو not everyone is a leader. ما احنا لو كلنا leaders الدنيا مش هتمشي. It's okay. But some leaders, some people are leaders and they're not satisfied with what's going on. They have to take a decision. Vision is a clear mental picture of what could be fueled by the conviction that is should be. I see a picture and then I compare it in what's in my mind. Not only is it good for it to happen, but it must happen. لازم يحصل تغيير. It needs to be done. And from now on, I'm going to use Nehemiah as an example for the vision here. Nehemiah's concern over the condition of Jerusalem consumed him. This is what happened with Nehemiah. Nehemiah was in Persia. He heard about the city. Everything is ruined. No walls, no altar, no worship. فيش حاجة خالص. And that made him very sad. Made him feel like grieving about the city. In his mind, he visualized the problem. He visualized Jerusalem as a city of God that has walls, has an altar, a sacrifice is being offered, people are worshipping. This is the difference between what was and what's in his mind. هنا الفيجن بتبتدي ايه؟ تظهر. It wasn't just he sat home crying over the city, crying over the glory of Jerusalem. لا, in his mind, no, I cannot live with this. هيدي الفيجن. I cannot live with this. I have to do something about it. His was not a casual concern, it was a vision in the making. ما ناس كتيرة سمعت على اللي بيحصل في أورشليم. عملوا إيه؟ Absolutely nothing. Nothing. طب ليه؟ ما هو ايه الفرق بينهم وبين نهمايا؟ Nehemiah was a leader. He was a leader. ناس تيجي تانية تقول لك we wish things were different, man. But none of them had like this determination. ما كانش عندهم that zeal. Nehemiah was. Nehemiah knew what could be and should be cannot be until God is ready for it to be. So he waited. He waited. That's the first thing he did. استنى. When we look at the book of Nehemiah, we don't see the time. The book of Nehemiah didn't specify the time. يعني هو مش نهمايا جه النهارده سمع عن Jerusalem. Couple of days later he went to Jerusalem وبعدين راح كلم الملك وبعدين couple of weeks he gathered all the people and he spoke to him about building the wall, and then 2 months later here we go. The wall is built. No, it didn't work that way. Then there was some kind of waiting that helped the situation. And this is actually one of the advices that I give to a new priest in a church or something. When I ordain someone, I tell him, just go and watch. Don't try to change anything. Try to learn how the people, think and how they act with each other and stuff like that before you do any changes. ليه؟ هقول لكم ليه later on. A vision does not necessarily require immediate action. It doesn't really require immediate action. This is one of the mistakes that the leaders always fall in. When they go into an organization and they don't like something, then immediately يعمل ايه? Try to change it. ليه? Because he's a leader, which is good. But wait, you're not aware of the situation. You're not aware of the situation. How can you change something that you're not aware of? You don't have the whole picture. يمكن قرارك صح بس الوقت مش صح. Wait. طب why? Why do we have to wait? ليه? For a couple of reasons. أول حاجة زي ما قلت لك, you have to know the atmosphere, you have to know the people around, who are the players, you have to know the dynamics, interactions between people. That's number one. Number two, when you change early, what happens? Here we go. You need to change it again. هتقولي طب وإيه يعني؟ No one is perfect. I made a mistake يا عم أنت هتوجع دماغنا ليه؟ لا مش made a mistake. You are a leader. Everyone is looking at you. So when you come today and take a decision, and a couple of months later you do the opposite, الناس هتقول لك إيه؟ Forget about this leader, man. They don't know what he's talking about. They're not going to believe you. They're not going to trust you. ليه؟ لأن أنت عملت حاجة couple of months later عملت عكسها. You don't want that as a leader. Vision does not necessarily require immediate action. طيب لما نستنى عشان ناخد القرار واحنا بنستنى نعمل ايه؟ تعمل 3 things. 3 things. First thing, the vision matures in us. Whenever there's a vision, there's a load. بيبقى في load عليا. I believe that this is what I want to do. And I believe this is the right thing to do. Load على كتفي. I want to talk. I want to make a difference. I want to make a change. Time allows us to distinguish between good ideas and visions worth throwing the weight of our life behind. الوقت هيبين لك if this is a good decision or a bad decision. Only the time reveals this. Okay? The vision matures in us. Everyone can come up with a good idea. Everyone. أنا لو اديتك ورقة وقلم دلوقتي ولا كل واحد يطلع لي 2 good ideas هتطلع لي 70 ideas. But not every idea is a vision. It's not enough to become a vision. So when we wait, 3 things will happen. أول حاجة, the burden will increase and the idea is more and more clear. ده أول حاجة ممكن تحصل. كل ما أقعد كل ما الأيديا إيه في دماغي بتخمر أكتر. عارفين كلمة تخمر دي؟ القربنية يعرفوا. الناس اللي بتعمل قربان يعرفوا يعني إيه تخمر. الأيديا بتخمر. It starts to become a plane. Another thing might happen. It's not worth it. هو فعلا كانت good idea in the beginning, but in a couple of weeks I found out that it's not going to make a difference. مش هي يعني الأيديا اللي. Or the third option, yes, it is a good idea, but it needs some modification. هي دي الثلاث حاجات اللي بتحصل لما نستنى على الفكرة بتاعنا. لا إما بتبقى فكرة حلوة, yes, it is a good idea, or no, it's not. I thought it was, but it's not. Or the third option is, it is a good idea, but I need to do some modification. So why it's important to wait? While we are waiting, what should we be doing? If what concerned you yesterday is of a little concern today, odds are that was not a vision material. If I worry about something and a couple of days later I don't really think about it or fade away كده, then it's not a vision. It's not a vision. Acting too quickly on a vision like delivering a baby prematurely. بتطلع baby مش كامل. This could be a very good vision, a good idea, but it comes prematurely. When it comes prematurely, it dies because it didn't come while everyone is prepared. And you have to prepare the people around you عشان people can buy into that vision. أنت مش هتشتغل لوحدك. Yes, you are a leader, but you need the people around you to work with you. تمام؟ For a vision to survive, it must be mature and healthy before being exposed to the cynical, critical, stubborn environment, Egyptian environment, in which it is expected to survive, and maturity requires time. What I mean by that? An idea as مثلا setting the church in order. عايزين كل حاجة في الكنيسة تمشي according to the book. يجي Uncle Amin, you put the things in order. الناس تيجي تقول له يا عم انت هتخوت دماغنا ليه؟ ما هي ماشية بقى لها 70 سنة. People don't feel comfortable with orders. They don't, especially our people. If you just come with a mere idea that is not mature in your mind on how things are going to happen, then what will happen is whenever you cast your vision, people will criticize it. Oh, it's not durable. Oh, it's not practical. Oh, who's going to do this? Who's going to listen to you? It dies. ليه؟ لأن أنت طلعت الأيديا بتاعتك بدري. لأن أنت ما خليتش الناس اللي حواليك مستعدين إن هم يسمعوا الفيجن بتاعتك. If you don't have answers to all these questions, then the idea comes and dies. تمام؟ As I told you, people don't like change. They don't like to change. And ما تقوليش دول نيجاتيف ومش نيجاتيف. لا. This is our nature. Okay? لا المشكلة مش في الشعب بتاعك. المشكله في طبيعتنا، احنا طبيعتنا كده، ما بنحبش الاوردرز، ما بنحبش to change things a lot. فهي انت اول ما تطلع لي باوردر هقف قدامك وهعندك. ليه؟ لان انا مش عايز اوردرز، مش عايز. Not only should the vision mature in our minds before we introduce it to the people, but also we mature with time. احنا كمان بنكبر مع الوقت. We mature in preparation for the vision. The tendency is to assume that since I know what I am to do, I am ready to do it. But usually the two don't, work together. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed with a good idea, that it's ready. But I myself, I'm not ready. أنا الليدر مش جاهز. الأيديا حلوة والفكرة جميلة، لكن أنا نفسي مش جاهز ليها. For example, for a new leader مثلا in an organization. أنت في organization, you're going to work in مثلا Microsoft, and you are a CEO. People have to buy into you before they buy into the vision. يعني إيه؟ يعني people have to believe in me as a leader قبل ما اديهم أي فكرة عشان يعملوها. If you guys don't believe in me, أنت مش هتسمع لي. يا عم ده راجل مش عارف هو بيعمل إيه، مش عارف هو بيقول إيه. I have to be ready before I expose my vision. Personally يعني. طب example of this, Moses. Moses is an example of an importance of patience. While pursuing a vision, he had the right idea to deliver his people. When he came out of the palace, he was 40 years old. And he saw some kind of injustice done to his people. عمل إيه؟ He was trying to do his vision on his own way. هو ما كانش، هي الأيديا حلوة. It's a good idea. بس هو نفسه ما كانش ready. He wasn't ready. He had to wait another 40 years to do his vision. And that's the third reason why we should wait. Is God at work behind the scene preparing the way. ربنا شغال. لو الفيجن دي بتاعتك هي بتاعت ربنا، ثق تماما ان ربنا هيشتغل في الباك جراوند. وربنا عمل كده مع موسى. خلاه يستنى another 40 years to do the vision. على فكرة الموضوع ده، النقطة دي، if you say it to people out there, they're not going to believe you. In the world مفيش حاجة اسمها God is working behind the scene. God is working in a background. مفيش حاجة اسمها كده. هيقول لك انت عم لازم تشوف دكتور نفساني. ها؟ بدروش. مفيش حاجة اسمها كده. ده هنا في التشيرش بس. Nehemiah waited 4 months before he started to pursue his vision. استنى 4 شهور. One of the most difficult aspects. أنا صح كده ولا؟ One of the most difficult aspects of the construction of a vision is to distinguish between good ideas and God ideas. طب what should we do? How can I know the difference? A God-ordained vision will eventually feel like a moral imperative. If this is from God, then you feel like this has to happen. Because there's something here that is dependent on it. Something here that's related to the salvation of the people. Okay, so it has to happen. A God-ordained vision will be in line with what God is up to in the world. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ يعني العمل اللي بيعمله ابونا مارك او العمل اللي بيعمله ابونا بول في الكنيسة، تشعر انه هو نفس العمل اللي ربنا عايز يعمله فين؟ في العالم. هنا تبقى God's vision. It's not a good idea. لو انت بتحس ان العمل اللي بيعمله ابونا مارك بيعمله بول في الكنيسه هو نفس اللي عايز يعمله ربنا في العالم، يبقى هو ده الفيجن بتاعت ربنا اللي بيعملها ابونا بول او ابونا. A God ordained vision will be in line. Oh, I covered that already. It was Israel's strategic role in God's plan that made Nehemiah's vision so compelling. What does that mean? Nehemiah's thinking of Jerusalem is not just it is the city that it's ruined and I have some feeling about it. لا، مش ده الفكر بتاع نحمية كان على جيروسلم. Nehemiah in his mind, Jerusalem was like the representation of God's presence. ده كان الفكر بتاع نحمية على أورشليم، إن ده المكان بتاع ربنا اللي بيظهر فيه ربنا، اللي بيتكلم فيه ربنا. If those people are like this, if the city is ruined like this, that means technically there is no representation for God. الموضوع ما كانش بنى سور. ده بنى سور دي كانت ايه؟ حاجة يعني من ضمن الحاجات، لكن المين ايديا ان هو يرجع مجد ربنا للمدينة. That's the main vision. That's the main vision. It wasn't just building a wall. He was just actually bringing the presentation of God through his people to the city. It wasn't the condition of the walls that broke his heart, it was the spiritual condition of his people. The wall was completed in 52 days. بنى الوول خد 52 يوم. But you see the success of Nehemiah, you read it later in chapter 8, when the people came together with one heart and they asked Ezra to read the scripture. مش كده؟ مش عارف انتوا عارفين الحكايه بتاعت نحمية ولا لا؟ They were very attentive and they had a zeal and they started to cry over the city. هنا نحمية نجح، مش عشان بنى السور، عشان جمع الناس دي وخلاهم ايد واحده. They actually was preparing themselves to celebrate the Feast of the Tabernacle. It was something new to them. كانت حاجة جديدة بالنسبة لهم إنهم يعيدوا عيد العيد ده. يعني ده بيخلينا نفتكر حاجة، يعني مثلا some people come to أبونا ويقول له أبونا إحنا عايزين نعمل كنيسة جديدة. أو أبونا فلان سمعنا إن هو عايز يعمل كنيسة. ليه يا عم عايز يعمل كنيسة جديدة؟ طب انت عايز ليه تعمل كنيسه جديده؟ انت عايز تعمل كنيسه جديده عشان تقول ابونا so and so build a new church، ولا عايز تعمل كنيسه جديده because you want people to benefit more from the facility, you want people to be served better، هيبقى عندك عدد قليل فالناس هتتخدم احسن. What is the purpose? What is your vision؟ بتدور على مجد نفسك ولا على مجد ربنا؟ خلي بالك في الاول لما قلت لك ايه الفيجن بتاعت الناس اللي شغاله مع ربنا، ان الفيجن بتاعتي تبقى هي نفس الفيجن بتاعت ربنا. فانت لما تيجي تعمل كنيسه جديده لازم تفكر في الموضوع ده. What is God's vision for this new church? Is it because they say, oh, Abuna so and so built this church and served in this church for a couple of years and he left it and he built another one and he left it and he built another one. انت بتدور على مجد الناس ولا على مجد ربنا؟ What is your vision? What is your vision? هل هي دي الفيجن بتاعت ربنا؟ دي مش فيجن بتاعت ربنا، دي الفيجن بتاعت الإنسان. دي الفيجن بتاعت نفسك. انت بتدور على مجد نفسك. What did Nehemiah do while waiting? عمل ايه نحمية وهو مستني؟ أول حاجة he prayed. Prayer is clerical. As we see what we are looking for, we often miss what we don't expect to see. الصلاة بتخلي تفتح عينيا. Make the idea more clear and clear. Sometimes I don't see everything, but when I stand and pray and ask God, please open my eyes to see the things that I don't see, or to see the things that I don't want to see. ما هو أنا ساعات as a leader أروح مغمض عينيا كده عشان في حاجات أنا مش عايز أشوفها. ضعف فيا as a leader. لا فتح عينيا عشان أشوف، لأن أنا a leader. أنا I have to see the whole thing. I have to see the whole picture. الحلو والوحش. Prayer keeps us looking, keeps the burden fresh. كل ما أصلي لو دي الفيجن دي بتاعت ربنا، كل ما أحس إن في حاجة إيه عمالة تضغط عليا إن أنا إيه أعمل الموضوع ده. كل ما أصلي كل ما يحصل كده. Then I know right away that this is God's vision. And keeps our eyes and hearts in an expectant mood. I'm attentive. I'm waiting. Open for me, O Lord, what I want to know. What I want to know before I bring this vision to the people. عشان I'm gonna look bad لو أنا ما عنديش كل الانسرز. I'm gonna look bad if I'm not ready. I'm gonna look bad if I don't know how to answer these questions that the people praying for this vision. Praying ensures we don't miss opportunities God brings our way. Nehemiah prayed for two things in reference to his vision. What did he pray for? نرجع ازاي؟ This is it. Nehemiah prayed for two things. He wanted an opportunity to share his vision with the king. أول حاجة صلى لها. عايز فرصة أروح أكلم الملك على الموضوع ده. He asked God, give me grace before the king's eyes. Give me grace. لو اديتني grace هعرف إن الفيجن دي بتاعتك مش بتاعتي أنا. If this idea is from you, you'll give me success before the king. If it's not from you, then خلاص, it's the end of the story. هو صلى عشان كده. تاني حاجة, we ought to focus our prayers on what we know needs to happen in order to get the vision of the launching pad. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ يعني دلوقتي أنا عايز أبني building في الكنيسة. أبونا بول wants to build a building. طيب ما الكنيسة عندها already loan. هروح البنك. I need a second loan. People look at the paper. Okay, you need a second loan. You want me to approve this? You need to bring me $500,000 in cash in order to accept this loan. لو عرفت أجيب $500,000 in cash within a month or whatever they say, خلاص يبقى this vision is from God. خلاص. It's a sign from God that this is God's vision. I prayed for it and I asked the people to contribute. We got the money. Here's the money. Okay, loan approved. هي الفيجن بتحصل كده. هي الفيجن. That $500,000 for Nehemiah was the king's approval. أول ما خد الapproval from the king, خلاص, it's God's vision. عرف ساعتها إن دي God's vision. بعد كده he planned. Opportunity apart from preparation result in missed opportunity. Yes, there is an opportunity to have a city back again. It's a great opportunity to have the glory of God back again in the city. But if you didn't prepare, what will happen? زي ما قلنا في الأول. A day comes and goes, comes and dies. It never came to life. The next block in constructing a vision is God is using your circumstances to position and prepare you to accomplish His vision for your life. كل اللي بيحصل لك في حياتك قبل ما تكون ليدر، كل اللي بيحصل لك في حياتك قبل ما تكون ليدر it's a preparation for that position. Even your mistakes, even your mistakes. Even your sins, even your sins. ربنا بيحول كل حاجة. ما هي لو موضوع القيادة دي خطة ربنا في حياتك، ربنا هيحول كل حاجة في حياتك عشان يحقق الهدف ده. وهنعرف ازاي دلوقتي. Nehemiah was in a perfect position to take care of this project. How he was working so close to the king. أول حاجة. فتعلم إيه؟ He learned the leadership from being there. Also he had some kind of influence on the king. شوفي كل دي حاجات كان ربنا بيعدها عشان نحمية لما يجي يتكلم مع الملك إيه؟ ما يدلوش hard time. Sometimes God preparing people for years and years in order for them to carry a vision for just a couple of years, and that's it. Ended the story. Ended the story. Noah lived 500 years not knowing what he was doing, but God preparing him to save the world. Nehemiah was the same. Moses was the same. Moses, to take the vision of delivering the people out of Egypt, he had to be prepared in two different schools. أول school of Virginia. No, I'm just kidding. أول school of leadership. School of leadership. موسى كان لازم يخش السكول بتاع leadership عشان يعرف يقود شعبه ويطلعوا من Egypt. طب what is the best school in Egypt for leadership? ها؟ The House of Pharaoh. فده أول مدرسة اتخرج منها موسى. تمام. شوف ربنا بيستخدم circumstances ازاي. He was trained and raised to become a king. أنا بنسى أقلب على فكرة. إحنا فين دلوقتي؟ Okay, the second one is to be prepared how to be a shepherd. طب مش مهم خليها دلوقتي كده. To be a shepherd. أول حاجة اتعلم leadership، خلاص اتعلم leadership. تاني حاجة بقى shepherd، لازم يبقى راعي، ما هو هيرعى شعبه 40 سنة في البرية. طب you tell me how this can happen in a life of regular people, a regular boy who was raised in Jerusalem, Israel, who was raised in a regular family. كان هيتعلم الكلام ده فين؟ leadership being a shepherd. كان هيتعلمه لو اتساب مع أمه وعاش حياة بسيطة زي أي واحد في إسرائيل وتربى زي أي واحد في إسرائيل، كان هيتعلم الكلام ده فين؟ So God always uses the circumstances to fulfill His vision in your life. تمام؟ فأنت لما تتعرض لحاجة في حياتك حتى لو كانت وحشة ما تزعلش، ما تلعب، ممكن يكون لخيرك بعد كده. This miraculously happened by two mistakes. الموضوع leadership و being a shepherd دي حصلت by two mistakes. One from the pharaohs and the other one from Moses. إيه اللي خلى موسى يروح بيت فرعون؟ هو القرار الخطأ اللي خده فرعون. اقتل كل العيال. القرار ده قاد موسى لبيت فرعون. طب الخطأ التاني جه من موسى. لما راح حاول ايه؟ يقتل الشاب المصري. فخطأين اهو حصل في حياة موسى، وربنا استخدم الخطأين دول لمنفعة موسى. Why am I saying this? Why am I saying this? Because when God is really working in the life of a person, He is going to use not only his talents, his skills, his abilities, but also his mistakes. ربنا ساعات بيستخدم أخطائنا عشان ينفذ خطته في حياتنا. تمام؟ God had Nehemiah right where he wanted him. He was perfectly positioned as we said. حاجة تانية بقى نتكلم عليها في الفيجن. Confusing success with the rewards of success is one of the primary reasons why people abandoned their dreams. What do I mean by this? Success, what is success? Success is remaining faithful to the process God has laid out for you. Remaining faithful. هو ده success. How do you find success? Success is not getting the full grade. It's not getting the good grade. Success is keep doing what you're supposed to do regardless of the result. Sometimes people say, you know what? I'm not successful because the result it's not good. It's not as I was expecting. If I'm not really successful person. Actually, the reward of the success is different than the success itself. The reward is when things are going well and the project is completed, this is the reward. But the success is to remain faithful to the process. يعني for example, تلاقي تلميذ مثلا قاعد يستدي hard all year long. Okay? He was faithful. وجي في يوم الامتحان جاله stomach virus. جاله أي حاجة. He got into a car accident. He got a 0 on the test. Is he successful or not? He is. Because he was faithful in the process. الريزلت دي مش بتاعتي as a leader. I don't worry about the result. I worry about, how can I be faithful in what I'm doing? هو ده success. How does success? Sometimes people look at the grades and say, you know what, I got a bad grade. I'm a failure. No, you're not. No, you're not. Were you faithful or not? Yes, I was faithful. خلاص. الريزلت دي مش بتاعتك، دي بتاعت ربنا. طب انا هقول لك اكزامبل. بص على موسى ده، النبي العظيم، ما فيش احسن منه في لحد هذا اليوم. نبي ما فيش احسن منه. موسى ده كان بيقود كم واحد في البريه؟ كم واحد ابونا؟ hundreds of thousands. ها؟ 2 million. 2 million people. ليه؟ كان عايز يوديهم فين؟ كان عايز ياخدهم فين؟ The promised land. طب how many people got into the promised land? ها؟ 2 people. You call him failure? ايه رأيكم؟ موسى كان ناجح ولا مش ناجح في عمله؟ كان ناجح؟ طب ازاي كان ناجح ووصل 2 بس out of 2 million؟ The result is not mine. النتيجة مش بتاعتي. أنا أعمل اللي عليا. The result, it's on him. It's not on me. Sorry. Another example. I was a faithful parent. ماشي؟ ربيت عيالي يعني كما ينبغي، اديتهم لابونا ويعترفوا ومدارس أحد وبايبل ستادي ومش عارف يحضر ايه وكونفرنس هنا وريتريت هنا. I did everything to these kids. I gave them I was really faithful in raising these kids. And the kid ended up, God forbid يعني أي حاجة، drug dealer، أي حاجة. Is it my fault? Is it my fault? Is it Abuna's fault? No. The result is not mine. I did what I'm supposed to be doing. أنا عملت اللي عليا. النتيجة دي مش بتاعتي. النتيجة دي مش بتاعتي. Where we at? Nehemiah was successful the day he embraced. Nehemiah was successful the day he embraced the vision, the night he laid in bed and developed a mental inventory of what it would take to rebuild the gates. When was Nehemiah's success started? He was faithful from the beginning. Why he was faithful? Because he was faithful through the process. When he had everything completed, this was the reward of the success. لما البروجكت خلص ده الريورد. لكن السكسس نفسه ان انت to be faithful. He was successful the morning he asked God to grant him favor before the king. All these were steps that he was applying one by one. He was successful before the wall was built, as he was doing all what he knew to do. By the way, this is something unique with God. ليه؟ لأن أنت when you work with God, you will see the reward based on your labor, based on your work, not based on the result of the work. Okay? You will be rewarded according to your deed, to your labor. People out there, they will reward you according to the result of the work. زي ما قلت لك في أول المحاضرة، قلت لك CEO أنا عايز أعمل more money. طب أنا هقول لك مثال. أنا CEO دلوقتي واشتغلت طول السنة وعملت profit $5 million to the company. حلو. جه واحد بعدي was working a lot harder than me, a lot harder, وعمل profit 3 million only. الناس هتقول عليه ايه؟ failure. ليه؟ عشان he lost 2 million dollars. بس انا اشتغلت اكتر. ما نعترفش بالشغل، نعترف بالنتيجة. العالم يعترف بالنتيجة، ربنا يعترف بالمجهود. Okay? What God originates, He orchestrates. You got this? يعني if this is God's plan, اللي انت بتعمله ده, if it's God's plan, هتلاقي ربنا ايه؟ مسهلها معاك. ماشية. الدنيا ماشية. مفيش حاجة واقفة قدامك. What always precedes how? You came to an organization, as I said, and you see something that is not good. First thing you want to do is, what's going on here? I need to fix. Before you think about how, you think about what. What needs to be done, and then comes how, and then later on comes who. Who is going to carry on this? What first, then how, then who. You will know what God has put in your heart to do before you know how He intends to bring it about. This was Nehemiah's experience also. In his heart, what needs to be done is the walls to be restored. How and who, all these were missing. معلش، ما هو مفيش حد بيطلع بفيجن وعنده all the answers for everything. It's okay. This will develop by time. God had the how all worked out. معلش بس it's different with God. God has answers to everything. لكن ساعات الإنسان ما بيكونش عنده الانسرز دي. What he needed was a who. ربنا كان عايز who is going to carry on this responsibility. He was looking for a person to take care of this. It was Nehemiah. It's exactly what it's like. This is the يعني ده الترند بتاع ربنا في البايبل. دايما يكون ربنا has a plan, certain plan, and he was waiting for someone to carry on this plan. زي ما حصل مع العذراء، زي ما حصل مع موسى، زي ما حصل مع نحمية، زي ما حصل مع ناس كتيرة قوي. Every story in the Bible, there is a person that God wanted this particular person to do the vision. By embracing a divine vision is not dependent upon us making something happen, it's dependent upon God making something happen. If it's really from God, you will see how everything will work. And this will be tested along the way. Pursuing a vision requires faith. لازم يكون في إيمان. Pursuing a vision will test, stretch, and at times exhaust your faith. There is no God-given vision that will not need faith. مفيش. Anything that needs faith means there's going to be an adventure. Adventure means يعني the result is not 100% guaranteed. لازم يكون في حتة faith كده في الموضوع, في الvision. That's why I always say vision requires faith. And this is actually one of the reasons people are going to be so cynical, يعني يبقوا واقفين لك على الوحدة. ليه؟ لأن ساعات الناس ما بيكونش عندها إيمان. بيبقى عندهم 1+1=2. That's it. حتة الفيس دي في الفيجن تبقاش واضحة شوية. Success has a way of wearing us off our dependency on God. In the middle of success, it's easy to take responsibility for maintaining our success without ever meaning to. We shift from a God orientation to a self orientation. What does that mean? Sometimes when I have a vision and I spoke to the people about it, and people, believed in this vision and they started to work on it, in the middle of the way, I feel like, oh, wait a minute. I'm a good person. I'm a good leader. I know what I'm doing. I got all these people to work with me to fulfill my vision. فتبتدي النظرة تختلف شوية, خصوصا لو في نجاح في الفيجن. ببتدي أبص على نفسي وربنا يبتدي يبعد شوية بشوية. ليه؟ I did this. أنا كنت the reason why this project is doing good. If we lost focus on who started this and who it is that he wants me to do and what he is looking me to do, then it's the beginning of يعني أقول مش عايز أقول السقوط يعني. الدنيا بتبتدي تقع. خلي بالك كل حاجة بتعملها لازم ربنا يكون قدامك في كل خطوة, سواء في نجاح أو مفيش نجاح. You have to put this in your mind. God wanted what God wanted in the beginning, what he wants now, and what he wants in the future. لأن ساعات السكسس بيبقى become a distraction للإنسان. ساعات نجاحي بيبقى distraction ليا. أنا حاسس إن أنا إنسان ناجح وإنسان كويس, فخلاص بقى ربنا ما خلاص الدنيا بقت ماشية كويس. People might go into the sense of who is doing what? Who's the boss here? Who is going to be promoted to be the coordinator of this? This shouldn't be the case in a church. It shouldn't. Why? Because it's his idea. Those are his people. I'm here to serve him. I'm just a servant. Who's the boss? I don't care. I only care about the salvation of the people. The right vision بتاع the spiritual leader. This should be repeated to the people over and over and over عشان تبقى clear. The minute I say, who is the boss here? I'm the boss. تعرف على طول اللي انت you are just executing your own vision. It's not God's vision. It's not God's vision anymore. Even if you're serving God, it's not God's vision anymore. You have your own vision and you're trying to fulfill it. The minute you say, I am the boss, I am in charge of this. This person stepped on my toes. This person crossed his boundaries with me. You shouldn't be hearing these sentences in the church. It became يعني بتبقى بيحصل كده مس في الكنيسة، تحس ان الكنيسة في حاجة غلط. And that makes success, unfortunately, a reason for distraction. Walk before you talk, investigate before you initiate. I know we spoke about this already. Walk and investigate before you come with a vision. This is what Nehemiah did. After he got the approval of the king, he went to Jerusalem and he stayed there for 4 days. He walked by himself intentionally. بيقول كده, then I rose in the night and on a few men with me. I told no one what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. Even those people who were walking with him, they didn't know what he was up to. Nor was there any animal with me except the one on which I rode. And I went out by night through the valley gate to the serpent well and the refuse gate, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem which were broken down and its gates which were burned with fire. He had to inspect and see it himself. Because when he will walk with the people will ask, oh, who is going to do this? What about this? And what about this? وهنعمل دي ازاي؟ وهنعمل دي كده ايه؟ If he didn't see it himself, if he doesn't know it, then who is going to convince the people to work? You have to go and see. Go and investigate yourself. To share a vision prematurely usually guarantee a less than warm reception. We spoke about this. Nehemiah's midnight ride was not fueled by a lack of faith. He was not really there to see if he can do it or not. He was there to see how can he do it. How can he do it? When he finally announced his intentions to those who would do the work, he knew exactly what they were up against. He knew the challenges and what needed to be done. Once you announce your vision, you open it up for discussion and criticism. This is common. ما تزعلش. ما تزعلش لما تطلع بفكرة جديدة وتبقى عايز تنفذها والشعب يقف قدامك ويطلع أسئلة يمين وشمال. Don't be upset. This is very normal. Very normal. And by the way, these are not negative people. They're not negative. This is nature. The nature of the people. As I told you from the beginning, they don't like to change. الشطارة بتاعتك بقى as a leader ان انت you convince them that this is the right way to do. This is the right thing to do. Okay? هي دي الشطارة. This is how people are. Don't get upset. In most environments, if your vision cannot be presented in a great rational detail, it will be passed off as a crazy idea. لو انت مش مستعد بالفكرة بتاعتك هيقول عليها دي فكرة مجنونة، سيبك منه. Investigation will accomplish at least one of three things. Vision confirmed. خلاص أنا رحت وشفت وبصيت وinvestigate وعرفت إيه المشكلة. and I know all the challenges that I am going to face. And I know the solution. فخلاص يعني vision confirmed. Or لما أروح لا vision furtherly defined. أنا محتاج إيه؟ أعمل some more investigations. Or vision aborted. Forget about it. It's not going to make any difference. Yes, it was a good idea in the beginning, but after I think about it, it's not a good idea anymore. Communicate your vision as a solution to the problem that must be addressed immediately. Communicate your vision as a solution to a problem that must be addressed immediately. Bishop Peter, إرسالك على حل. It requires immediate action ولا should we wait? خلي بالك احنا في beginning قلت ايه؟ A vision doesn't require immediate action. دلوقتي انا بقول لك ايه؟ Communicate your vision as a solution to a problem that must be addressed immediately. طب ارسلك على حل. ايه رأيكم؟ ها؟ This is addressed. الأول كانت مجرد فكرة. دلوقتي لا. اتخمرت الفكرة. وبقى ليها حل. وبقى ليها steps. والناس اقتنعت بيها. قدمها بقى للناس as a solution to the problem that these people are facing right now. تعالوا يا جماعة، احنا عندنا مشكلة كبيرة في المدارس الأحد. ايه المشكلة الكبيرة؟ احنا عايزين نعلم العيال دي صح. طب نعلم العيال دي صح ازاي؟ ان احنا نشتري لهم Sunday school building dedicated to them. هنا انت اديتهم حل المشكلة اللي هم بيعانوا منها. خلاص. لو قدمت لهم الفيجن بتاعتك as a solution to a problem، تعرف ان الفيجن بتاعتك هتنجح على طول. مش محتاجة منك مجهود anymore. دايما قدم الفيجن بتاعتك as a solution. تعالوا يا جماعة، في مشكلة والحل بتاعها اهو. وده يبقى الفيجن بتاعتك. Not only a solution, but it is time now to work on it. نشتغل دلوقتي، مش كمان 5. اصل ممكن يجي يقول لك ايه، ده ابونا مارك طلع بايديا حكايه بس دي محتاجين نشتغل عليها كمان 3 سنين. نو. مش محتاج تشتغل عليها كمان سنين، انت محتاج تشتغل عليها بكره. عشان العيال دي مفيش اغلى منهم، وخدمه العيال دي مفيش اغلى منهم. the more that you wait, the more that you lose these kids. So we have to act on it tomorrow. Okay? Not only as a solution, but it's time to work on it now. You have to communicate it well. You have a problem. People have to see the problem. Then you address it as a solution. You address your vision as a solution to the problem. People have to visualize it with you. And now it's time to work on it. Then I said to them, what did he say, Nehemiah? You see the distress that we are in? This is the problem. How Jerusalem lies waste, and its gates are burned with fire. Come and let us build. This is the solution. اداهم المشكلة واداهم الحل. The wall of Jerusalem, that we may no longer be reproached. And I told them of the hand of my God, which had been good upon me. Why I'm saying this? Because this is the reason why we have to act now. Is the hand of God is with me. It was a sign that this is God's vision. This is not my vision. This is God's vision. And also of the king's words that he had spoken to me. God-ordained visions are shared visions. في ساعات leaders يجي يقول لك ايه, this is my vision. Okay? And I'm not going to share it with anyone. I'm not going to tell anyone about it. ليه يا عم؟ يقول لك I'm the leader. I'm responsible for it. No, you're not. No, you're not, because you need people to work with you in order to fulfill this vision. And people, as I said in the beginning, people have to buy into you before they have to buy into the vision. Okay? So you cannot just, you can't just keep it to yourself. If it's a vision that you have to share it with people, everybody has to agree on it. There's no such thing like it's this vision is between me and God. لا فيش حاجة اسمها between you and God. If you are a leader of the people, you have to share the vision. Sometimes يقول لك يا عم احنا مش عايزين دوشة ومش عايزين وجع دماغ وهنقول للناس وهنقول للمجلس وهنقول للشمامسة وهيتعبوا دماغنا. ما هي كده. هي ما تمشيش غير كده. You have to share it with the people. You have to share it with the board. You have to share it with the deacons. You have to share it with the Abuna. This is how it is. This is how it is. And this actually, what makes it more difficult is because it needs everyone to contribute. Last thing I'm going to say, 4 components of an effective vision. The problem. What is the problem? What is the concern that I have? The solution to the problem, the reason why we're doing this, okay, and the timing. لو عرفت تعمل دول صح هتبقى ما عندكش أي مشكلة في الفيجن بتاعتك. لو عرفت تعمل دول صح مش هيكون عندك أي مشكلة في خدمتك. مش هيكون عندك أي مشكلة في أي حتة تتواجد فيها. لأن الفور كومبوننتس دول يقدروا يشتغلوا مش في الكنيسة بس، يشتغلوا في أي حتة. في أي شغلانة. أي شغلانة أنت فيها. If you are a leader, you address the problem, you give a solution, you give a reason why you want to do this, and you choose the right time to do it. And glory be to God forever.
We don't have much time for questions. Sayyidina, are you staying with us during lunch? We will have lunch upstairs. An encore. Our vision for you to eat with us. So if we can come in front and take a picture with Sayyidina, and then after that we'll go upstairs, the playground just next to the gym. We will have our lunch ready for us, and we hopefully will have time to chat with Sayyidina, and if you have any questions, and then we'll take it from there for the rest of the day. If you can come forward.